Life is a wild ride, isn't it? One minute you're on top of the world, and the next you're wondering where it all went wrong. But let me tell you something, friends, whatever happens, just don't care. Now I know what you're thinking. How can I not care? My problems are real. Well, let me tell you a little secret. Caring too much about the wrong things is what's holding you back. You see, in this crazy world we live in, there are two types of people. There are those who let every little thing bother them, who fret and worry about every bump in the road. And then there are those who figured out the magic formula. They've learned to let go, to roll with the punches, and to keep moving forward no matter what life throws their way. Which one are you? Are you the worrier, always looking over your shoulder, waiting for the other shoe to drop? Or are you ready to join the ranks of those who've mastered the art of not caring? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you to become some heartless robot devoid of all emotion. That's not what this is about. What I'm talking about is learning to distinguish between what truly matters and what's just noise. It's about developing the wisdom to know when to invest your energy and when to let things slide off your back like water off a duck. Think about it for a moment. How much of your day do you spend worrying about things you can't control? The weather, the traffic, what other people think of you. These are all things that can consume our thoughts if we let them. But here's the kicker. No amount of worrying is going to change any of it. So why bother? Instead, imagine what you could accomplish if you channeled all that energy into something productive. Imagine the mountains you could move if you stopped caring about the pebbles in your shoe. You know, I remember a time when I was just starting out in my career. I was young, ambitious, and boy, did I care about everything. Every little setback felt like the end of the world. Every criticism cut me to the core. I was so busy trying to please everyone and worrying about what might go wrong that I couldn't see the opportunities right in front of me. But then something changed. I met an old-timer, a guy who'd been through it all and come out the other side with a smile on his face. And you know what he told me? He said, son, the secret to success isn't caring more, it's caring less about the things that don't matter. At first, I thought he was crazy. How could not caring lead to success? But as I watched him navigate life's challenges with ease, I started to see the wisdom in his words. He wasn't affected by the little things that used to throw me off course. He had this uncanny ability to focus on what was truly important and let everything else fall away. And that's when it hit me. The art of not caring isn't about apathy. It's about freedom. It's about liberating yourself from the chains of other people's expectations and your own self-doubt. Think about the most successful people you know. The ones who've really made it, who've achieved their dreams and are living life on their own terms. Do you think they got there by worrying about what every Tom, Dick, and Harry thought of them? Do you think they spent sleepless nights fretting over every little mistake or setback? No, my friends. They got there by having the courage to not care about the things that don't matter. They got there by focusing their energy on their goals and letting the rest fall by the wayside. Now, I can see some of you shifting uncomfortably in your seats. You're thinking, but I can't just stop caring. I have responsibilities, obligations. And you're right, you do. But here's the thing, caring less about the unimportant things doesn't mean neglecting your duties. In fact, it means just the opposite. When you stop wasting your mental and emotional energy on things that don't matter, you have more to give to the things that do. You become more effective, more focused, more capable of handling whatever life throws your way. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're working on a big project at work. It's important, it's challenging, and you really want to do a good job. Now, in scenario, you spend half your time worrying about whether your boss likes you, whether your coworkers think you're competent, whether you're going to mess up and lose your job. How much energy do you have left for actually doing the work? Now, in scenario B, you decide not to care about all that noise. You focus on the task at hand, you do your best work, and you let the results speak for themselves. Which scenario do you think is more likely to lead to success? The answer is obvious, isn't it? When you free yourself from the burden of caring about every little thing, you create space for greatness. You give yourself the freedom to take risks, to be creative, to push boundaries. But let's be real for a moment. This isn't easy. We're hardwired to care, to seek approval, to worry about the future. It's part of what's kept our species alive for thousands of years. But in today's world, that same instinct can hold us back. It can keep us small, keep us safe, keep us from reaching our full potential. So how do we break free? How do we master the art of not caring? Well, like any skill, it takes practice. It takes conscious effort, but I promise you, it's worth it. Start small. The next time something minor goes wrong, maybe you spill your coffee or get stuck in traffic. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, will this matter in a year, in a month, even in a week? If the answer is no, then let it go. Don't waste your precious energy on it. As you get better at this, you can start applying it to bigger things. That promotion you didn't get, maybe it wasn't meant for you. That relationship that didn't work out, perhaps it's making way for something better. That business deal that fell through, could be it's pushing you towards an even greater opportunity. The key is to shift your perspective. Instead of seeing problems, start seeing possibilities. Instead of focusing on what you can't control, focus on what you can. Instead of worrying about what might go wrong, get excited about what might go right. You see, life is too short and too precious to waste it caring about things that don't truly matter. Every moment you spend worrying is a moment you're not living, not growing, not moving towards your dreams. Now, I could already hear some of you thinking, but what if I stop caring and then everything falls apart? Let me tell you something. It won't. In fact, the opposite is more likely to happen. When you stop caring about the wrong things, you create space for the right things to flourish. Think about a garden for a moment. If you want your flowers to grow, you don't just plant the seeds and walk away. You need to tend to them, water them, make sure they get enough sunlight. But you also need to pull out the weeds. Those weeds, they're like the unnecessary worries and cares that choke out your potential. When you remove them, you give your dreams room to grow. Now, I'm not saying this transformation will happen overnight. It's a process, a journey. There will be times when you slip back into old habits, when you find yourself caring about things that don't deserve your energy. And that's okay. The important thing is to recognize it when it happens and gently guide yourself back on track. One technique I've found helpful is to regularly take stock of where you're investing your emotional energy. At the end of each day, ask yourself, what did I care about today? Did those things deserve my attention? Did caring about them move me closer to my goals? Or by doing this, you'll start to develop a clearer picture of what truly matters in your life. You'll begin to see patterns, to recognize the things that consistently drain your energy without providing any real benefit. And once you can see them, you can start to let them go. But here's where it gets really interesting. As you master the art of not caring about the wrong things, you'll find that you have more capacity to care deeply about the right things. Your relationships will improve because you're no longer bringing unnecessary baggage into them. Your work will flourish because you're able to focus on what truly matters. Your personal growth will accelerate because you're no longer held back by fear of failure or judgment. You'll become more resilient, more adaptable, more capable of handling whatever life throws your way. Because when you're not weighed down by unnecessary cares, you become light on your feet, ready to dance with life rather than stumble through it. Now, I want to be clear about something. This philosophy of not caring isn't about becoming cold or detached. It's not about building walls or shutting yourself off from the world. In fact, it's quite the opposite. When you stop caring about the things that don't matter, you create more space to care deeply about the things that do. Think about the people you love most in this world. Your family, your closest friends. Don't you want to be fully present for them? Don't you want to have the emotional energy to support them? to celebrate their victories and comfort them in their struggles, when you're not bogged down by unnecessary worries, you can be there for them in a way you never could before. The same goes for your passions, your dreams, your life's work. When you stop caring about what others think, about whether you're good enough, about all the things that could go wrong, you free yourself to pour your heart and soul into what truly matters to you. Imagine waking up every morning excited about the day ahead, not because everything is perfect, but because you know you have the strength and clarity to handle whatever comes your way. Imagine tackling challenges with enthusiasm rather than dread, seeing opportunities where others see obstacles. That's the power of not caring. It's not about becoming indifferent to life, but about becoming more alive than ever before. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, this all sounds great in theory, but how does it work in the real world? Well, let me share a little story with you. Years ago, I met a young entrepreneur. He had a brilliant idea for a business, but he was paralyzed by fear. He cared so much about what his friends and family would think if he failed. He cared about whether he had enough experience, whether his idea was good enough, whether he could compete with the big players in the market. All this caring was keeping him stuck. He had a day job he hated, but he was too afraid to leave it. He had a dream, but he was too scared to pursue it. He was living a life of quiet desperation, all because he cared too much about the wrong things. I sat down with this young man and I told him about the art of not caring. At first he was skeptical, but as we talked I could see a light start to flicker in his eyes. He began to understand that all his worries and fears were just that they weren't reality. They were just stories he was telling himself. So I challenged him. I said, for the next month, I want you to practice not caring. When those fears come up, acknowledge them, but don't give them power. Instead, focus on taking action. Focus on moving forward, even if it's just a small step each day. Well, let me tell you, the transformation was remarkable. Within that month, he had quit his job and fully committed to his business idea. Was he still scared? Absolutely. But he had learned to not care about that fear. He had learned to act in spite of it. Fast forward a few years, and that young man's business is thriving. He's living his dream, doing work he loves, making a difference in the world. And it all started with learning to not care about the things that were holding him back. Now, I'm not saying it was easy for him. There were setbacks, there were moments of doubt. But because he had mastered the art of not caring about the wrong things, he was able to persevere. He was able to keep his eyes on the prize and keep moving forward. And that's the thing about not caring. It gives you a kind of superpower. It allows you to take risks, to be bold, to go after what you really want in life. Because when you're not weighed down by worry and fear, you become unstoppable. Think about it. How many times have you held yourself back because you cared too much about what others might think? How many opportunities have you missed because you cared too much about the possibility of failure? How much of your life has been spent caring about things that, in the grand scheme of things, just don't matter? It's time to break free from that pattern. It's time to reclaim your power, to take control of your life. And it all starts with mastering the art of not caring. Now I can see some of you nodding your heads. You're starting to get it, but I can also see some skeptical faces out there. You're thinking, this sounds too simple. Life is complicated. There are real problems in the world. And you're right. Life is complicated. There are real problems in the world. But here's the thing. By mastering the art of not caring about the wrong things, you put yourself in a much better position to tackle the real issues. Think about it like this. Imagine you're a firefighter. Your job is to save lives, to protect people and property from the ravages of fire. Now, would you be very effective at your job if you spent all your time worrying about whether your uniform looked good or whether the other firefighters liked you or whether you might make a mistake? Of course not. To be an effective firefighter, you need to focus on the task at hand. You need to be present, alert, ready to act. You need to care deeply about saving lives and fighting fires and let all other stuff fall away. Life is no different. We all have our fires to fight, our challenges to overcome, our goals to achieve. And to do that effectively, we need to learn to focus on what truly matters and let go of the rest. But let me be clear, this isn't about becoming selfish or disconnected from the world around you. It's about becoming more effective, more impactful. It's about being able to make a real difference in your life and in the lives of others. When you stop caring about the petty things, the trivial concerns that consume so much of our mental and emotional energy, you create space to care deeply about the big things. You create the capacity to love more fully, to work more passionately, to live more authentically. Imagine what you could accomplish if you weren't held back by fear of judgment. Imagine the risks you could take, the dreams you could pursue, the impact you could have on the world. That's the power of not caring about the wrong things. It frees you to care deeply about the right things. Now, I know this isn't always easy. We live in a world that's constantly trying to tell us what we should care about. We're bombarded with messages about how we should look, how we should act, what we should own, what we should achieve. It's easy to get caught up in all of that, to start caring about things that, in the grand scheme of our lives, just don't matter. But here's the beautiful thing. You have a choice. You get to decide what you care about. You get to choose where you invest your emotional energy. And once you realize that, once you start consciously choosing what to care about and what to let go of, your whole life can change. So how do you start? How do you begin this journey towards mastering the art of not caring? Well, it starts with awareness. Start paying attention to what you're caring about throughout your day, what's causing you stress, what's making you anxious, what's keeping you up at night. Then for each of these concerns, ask yourself, is this something I can control? Is caring about this serving me in any way? Will this matter in a year or even a month from now? If the answer is no, then it's time to practice letting go. It's time to say, you know what? I choose not to care about this. I choose to focus my energy elsewhere. Now, this doesn't mean you'll never worry or feel stressed again. We're human, after all. But what it does mean is that you'll start to have more control over where you direct your emotional energy. You'll start to break free from the tyranny of unnecessary worries and fears. And as you do this, as you master the art of not caring about the wrong things, you'll find that you have more energy, more enthusiasm, more joy in your life. You'll find that you're more resilient in the face of challenges, more open to new opportunities, more capable of pursuing your dreams. Because here's the truth. Life is too short and too precious to waste it caring about things that don't truly matter. Every moment you spend worrying about what others think of you is a moment you're not fully living. Every ounce of energy you expend on things you can't control is energy you're not investing in the things you can change. So I challenge you, starting today, to begin mastering the art of not caring. Start small if you need to. The next time you find yourself worrying about something trivial, pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is this worth my precious time and energy? And if it's not, let it go. As you practice this, you'll find that it becomes easier. You'll start to naturally distinguish between what's worth caring about and what isn't. You'll become more focused, more purposeful, more aligned with your true values and goals. And here's the beautiful part. As you let go of the things that don't matter, you create space for the things that do. You create room for growth, for love, for passion, for purpose. You create the opportunity to live a life that's truly meaningful to you. Now, I want to be clear. This doesn't mean you become immune to life's challenges. It doesn't mean you'll never feel hurt or disappointed or afraid. But what it does mean is that you'll have the strength and clarity to face those challenges head on without being derailed by the small stuff. Think about the most resilient people you know, the ones who seem to weather any storm with grace and determination. I can almost guarantee you that they've mastered the art of not caring about the wrong things. They've learned to focus their energy on what truly matters and let the rest fall away. And here's the thing, you can be one of those people. You have that strength within you. You have the power to choose what you care about, to direct your energy where it will serve you best. Now, some of you might be thinking, but what about responsibility? Don't we have an obligation to care about certain things? And you're absolutely right. We do have responsibilities to our families, our communities, our work. But even in fulfilling those responsibilities, we can practice the art of not caring about the wrong things. For example, let's say you're a parent. Of course, you care deeply about your children, their health, their happiness, their future. But do you need to care about whether they're the best in their class? Do you need to care about whether they're popular? Do you need to care about whether they're following the exact life path you envisioned for them? Or would your energy be better spent caring about whether they're kind, whether they're developing their own passions, whether they feel loved and supported? By focusing your care on what truly matters, you become a more effective parent, and you model for your children the importance of living authentically. The same principle applies in every area of life. In your career, care deeply about doing good work, about making a positive impact, about growing and learning. But don't waste your energy caring about office politics, about whether you're climbing the ladder fast enough, about whether your colleagues like you. In your relationships, care about being kind, about being present, about building genuine connections. But don't care about trying to please everyone, about living up to someone else's expectations, about maintaining relationships that no longer serve you. In your personal growth, care about becoming the best version of yourself, about pursuing your passions, about making a difference in the world. But don't care about comparing yourself to others, about meeting arbitrary societal standards, about achieving goals that don't truly resonate with your values. You see, the art of not caring is really about discernment. It's about developing the wisdom to know what's worth your emotional investment and what isn't. And as you cultivate this wisdom, you'll find that you become more effective in every area of your life. You'll become a better leader because you'll be focused on what truly matters rather than getting caught up in trivial concerns. You'll become a better friend because you'll be fully present rather than distracted by unnecessary worry. You'll become more successful because you'll have the courage to take risks and pursue your true passion. But perhaps most importantly, you'll become happier because when you stop caring about the things that don't matter, you create space for joy, for peace, for genuine fulfillment. Now, I want to address something that might be on some of your minds. You might be thinking, but isn't caring what makes us human? Isn't it what connects us to others and to the world around us? And you're absolutely right. Caring is a fundamental part of the human experience. But here's the key, it's about caring about the right things, not everything. Think about it like this. Imagine you have a limited amount of emotional currency to spend each day. Would you waste it on things that don't truly matter? Or would you invest it wisely in the people, pursuits, and principles that align with your deepest values? That's what mastering the art of not caring is all about. It's about becoming a wise investor of your emotional energy. It's about choosing carefully where you direct your care and attention. And here's a secret. When you stop spreading your emotional energy thin by caring about every little thing, you actually increase your capacity to care deeply about what truly matters. You become more present, more engaged, more capable of making a real difference in the areas of life that are most important to you. So how do you put this into practice? How do you start mastering the art of not caring? Well, it begins with awareness. Start paying attention to what you're caring about throughout your day. What's causing you stress? What's making you anxious? What's keeping you up at night? Then for each of these concerns, ask yourself, is this something I can control? Is caring about this serving me in any way? Will this matter in a year or even a month from now? If the answer is no, then it's time to practice letting go. It's time to say, you know what? I choose not to care about this. I choose to focus my energy elsewhere. Now, this doesn't mean you'll never worry or feel stressed again. We're human, after all. But what it does mean is that you'll start to have more control over where you direct your emotional energy. You'll start to break free from the tyranny of unnecessary worries and fears. And as you do this, as you master the art of not caring about the wrong things, you'll find that you have more energy, more enthusiasm, more joy in your life. You'll find that you're more resilient in the face of challenges, more open to new opportunities, more capable of pursuing your dream. Because here's the truth. Life is too short and too precious to waste it caring about things that don't truly matter. Every moment you spend worrying about what others think of you is a moment you're not fully living. Every ounce of energy you expend on things you can't control as energy, you're not investing in the things you can change. So I challenge you, starting today, to begin mastering the art of not caring. Start small if you need to. The next time you find yourself worrying about something trivial, pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is this worth my precious time and energy? And if it's not, let it go. As you practice this, you'll find that it becomes easier. You'll start to naturally distinguish between what's worth caring about and what isn't. You'll become more focused, more purposeful, more aligned with your true values and goals. And here's the beautiful part. As you let go of the things that don't matter, you create space for the things that do. You create room for growth, for love, for passion, for purpose. You create the opportunity to live a life that's truly meaningful. Now, I want to be clear, this doesn't mean you become cold or unfeeling. It doesn't mean you stop engaging with the world around you. In fact, it means quite the opposite. When you stop wasting your emotional energy on things that don't matter, you have more to give to the things that do. You become more present in your relationships because you're not distracted by petty worries. You become more effective in your work because you're focused on what truly matters. You become more engaged in your community because you're not bogged down by trivial concerns. In essence, you become more alive, more authentic, more you. And isn't that what we all want? To live fully, to express ourselves authentically, to make the most of this precious gift of life we've been given. That's the power of mastering the art of not caring. It's not about apathy or indifference. It's about freedom. Freedom from the opinions of others. Freedom from unnecessary stress and worry. Freedom to live life on your own terms. So I ask you, what are you caring about that's holding you back? What worries, what fears, what trivial concerns are keeping you from living your best life? Identify them, acknowledge them, and then, my friends, let them go. Choose to not care about them anymore. Choose instead to focus your precious energy on what truly matters to you. Because when you do that, when you master the art of not caring about the wrong things, you open yourself up to a world of possibilities. You create the space for miracles to happen in your life. You see, life is constantly presenting us with opportunities for growth, for joy, for success. But so often we miss these opportunities because we're too busy caring about things that don't matter. We're too caught up in our worries and fears to see the magic that's right in front of us. But when you learn to let go, when you master the art of not caring about the wrong things, you become open to these opportunities, you become ready to seize them, to make the most of them, and that's when life really begins to unfold in beautiful and unexpected ways. That's when you start to experience the kind of success, the kind of fulfillment, the kind of joy that you've always dreamed of. So my challenge to you is this: starting today, practice the art of not caring. When you feel yourself getting caught up in something trivial, pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is this worth my precious time and energy? And if it's not, let it go. Focus instead on what truly matters to you, your values, your dreams, the people you love, the work that fulfills you, the causes that inspire you. As you do this, as you consistently choose to care about the right things and let go of the rest, you'll find that your life begins to transform. You'll find that you have more energy, more enthusiasm, more joy. You'll find that you're more resilient in the face of challenges, more open to new opportunities, more capable of achieving your goals. And most importantly, you'll find that you're living a life that's true to who you really are. A life that's rich with meaning and purpose. A life that makes a difference. Because that's what happens when you master the art of not caring about the wrong things. You free yourself to care deeply about the right things, and in doing so, you unlock your true potential. You become the person you were always meant to be. So remember, my friends, whatever happens, just don't care about the things that don't truly matter. Care instead about living fully, loving deeply, and making the most of this precious gift of life. The choice is yours. The power is yours. And I believe in you. I believe that you have what it takes to master this art, to transform your life, to make your dreams a reality. So go forth with courage. Go forth with determination. Go forth knowing that as you let go of what doesn't matter, you create space for miracles in your life. And always remember, life is too short to waste it caring about the wrong things. Choose wisely where you invest your emotional energy. Choose to focus on what truly matters. Choose to live a life that's authentic, purposeful, and filled with joy. Because when you do that, when you master the art of not caring about the wrong things and caring deeply about the right things, that's when you truly start to live. That's when you become unstoppable. That's when you create a life that's nothing short of extraordinary. The power is in your hands. The choice is yours. What will you choose to care about today?